Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, the science of friendship.
Yeah, it's core to being human.
We're going to unpack its, well, surprising biological roots, its evolutionary history.
And how it literally shapes our brains.
Yeah.
From infancy right through the teen years.
And then look at the huge impact it has on our health, our well-being, across our whole lives. We've got some amazing sources to guide us.
It's definitely a powerful subject. Friendship taps into that really basic human need to belong.
Totally. It's so primal, it can trigger actual pleasure, but also real pain, physical pain almost.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can still picture this perfectly. College, convertible, singing Take On Me with my roommate. Just pure joy.
Yeah.
But then you think about, I don't know, not getting invited to some party. Even as an adult, it stings, right? It feels like a massive betrayal sometimes.
It really does. That feeling goes deep.
And yet for ages, science kind of gave friendship the short shrift. Didn't take it seriously.
Exactly. It was seen as, too soft, too cultural, not biological.
C.S. Lewis even wrote something like, friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art.
It has no survival value.
Yeah.
Right. But he added, it's one of the things that gives value to survival. Still, science mostly agreed on the no survival value part for a long time.
So it was just seen as optional, a nice extra. What changed that? When did science start seeing it as, well, essential?
The shift really came when we started digging into the biology, the evolutionary underpinnings.
Okay.
And to really get those ancient roots, we kind of need to picture this place. Cayo Santiago, it's this little island off Puerto Rico.
Right, the Monkey Island,
Okay.
home to that rhesus macaque colony since, what, the 1930s?
In 1838, yeah. It's like a living lab for social behavior.
One of the sources describes getting there and, immediately being confronted by a big male macaque just standing there.
Yeah, a little test. You just
Right.
got to avoid eye contact, wait them out.
And then you see the little ones, the young macaques up in the trees, shaking branches.
Curious little things.
Yeah.
They learn that trick from the older ones. It's all very
Yeah.
familiar feeling.
Unsettlingly so, apparently. Richard Rollins, who ran the place for years, said something like,
Spend a year watching the monkeys, and you'll never look at humans the same way again. Spot on.
because you see these behaviors, like the puffed up males acting tough.
Totally. Or the nervous scratching when they're stressed socially. We do versions of that, right?
We absolutely do. And that weird West Side Story face-off thing between groups.
Yeah, lining up, moving back and forth. It suggests this stuff isn't just learned human culture. It's deeper, a blueprint.
And the individuals, they have distinct personalities too, like outgoing ones, shy ones.
Oh, definitely. Mellow, neurotic, scrappy, laid back, all sorts.
The source mentions one male, Chester. He was different.
Ah, Chester. Yeah, he was good to the females, groomed them, didn't chase or bite.
Which wasn't just being nice, it was strategic, building alliances.
Exactly. A different way to gain status than just aggression. Smart, really.
So how does this monkey behavior connect back to us, to human nature?
Well, it ties into this bigger shift. Early animal studies often put humans on a pedestal, totally separate.
Right.
But then someone like E.O. Wilson goes to Cayo Santiago, spends just a couple of days.
And has a stunning revelation, as he called it.
Yeah. He realized just how much human nature and animal nature overlap.
So things like love, hate, guilt, fear, they aren't just philosophical ideas.
Nope. They originate in these ancient brain regions, the hypothalamus, the limbic system, our emotional core.
And they evolve through natural selection, just like claws or wings.
Precisely. So social behavior, sociality itself, it's not just some cultural add-on, it's biology. It's an imperative.
Okay, so these social blueprints are ancient. Let's zoom in on how they develop in us, in humans, right from the start.
A key moment, kind of a symbolic start for the modern science of connection, was maybe February 1954.
What happened then?
That's when John Bowlby, the attachment theory guy, met Robert Heen, an ethologist, an animal behavior expert.
So a meeting of minds, a collaboration.
Kind of fitting, isn't it? A psychiatrist and an animal behaviorist, they were pioneers, really pushing the idea that social bonds matter profoundly.
Moving beyond just observing baby ducks following their mom.
And connecting that to how human kids bond, why it's so crucial for survival and development.
It's amazing, though, thousands of years before them, Aristotle was already thinking deeply about this.
Philia, his word for friendship.
And he broke it down, right? Different types.
Yeah, the three flavors. Friendship for profit, for pleasure, and for virtue, the highest form.
He thought it was necessary for everyone, rich, poor, young, old, even animals, he said.
Which was pretty radical for the time. And he knew it needed positive feelings, give and take, time, knowing each other well.
And that line, a friend is another self, that just resonates, doesn't it?
It's incredible how spot on that was. Neuroscience is now showing stuff that backs that up.
How so?
Well, studies find that when you think about your best friend, the brain areas that light up overlap significantly with the areas you use when thinking about yourself.
Whoa, so there's like a neural blurring?
Yeah, a blurring of self and other, especially when it comes to things like threat perception. Your brain treats threats to close friends almost like threats to yourself.
So from the brain's view, our friends are literally part of us.
Fundamentally intertwined.
Yeah. And this wiring for connection, it starts basically immediately at birth.
Pretty much. The infant brain seems pre-programmed to prefer social interaction.
All those senses, sight, hearing, touch, smell, taste, they're like input channels, taking in the social world.
Exactly, taking in details about caregivers. Those loving touches aren't just nice, they send signals to the brain, encouraging bonding.
There was that experiment, wasn't there, with newborns and faces?
Mark Johnson's work, yeah. Fascinating. Within an hour of birth, newborns preferred to look at a simple drawing of a face.
More than a scrambled face or a blank shape.
Right. They'd follow the face-like pattern more. Suggests an innate pull towards social cues. We're wired for faces from minute one.
Okay, so babies are drawn to faces. As they get a bit older, does the brain start specializing more for social stuff?
It does. Sarah Lloyd Fox did a study with 5-month-olds.
Mm-hmm.
She found more activity in a brain area called the superior temporal sulcus, the STS.
The STS, what does that do?
Think of it like an early social radar. It lit up more when babies watched social things, like peekaboo.
Compared to, say, watching a toy spin around.
Exactly. Clear evidence that the brain is already specializing for sociality really early on.
That's wild. What about touch? You said the senses are conduits. Touch must be huge for babies.
Absolutely critical. Affective touch or emotional touch, like a gentle stroke, a hug, it's the most developed sense when they're born.
And researchers are looking into that.
Yeah, people like Pirazzoli are studying how babies respond physiologically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does a soft brush stroke lower their heart rate? Early signs suggest this kind of contact is vital.
Okay, so pulling this together, having dinner parties might be cultural.
Right.
But just enjoying being around other people, that seems deeply biological.
That's the takeaway. The tendency toward sociability itself, it seems to be heritable, passed down in our genes.
Which confirms friendship isn't just, a lifestyle choice, it's evolutionary.
And Nicholas Christakis' research, it goes even further.
How so?
His work suggests genetics don't just influence if we're social, but maybe even the structure of our social lives.
Wait, what? Like how our friend groups are shaped?
Yeah. They found genetic links to things like transitivity, whether your friends tend to be friends with each other.
Okay.
And centrality, whether you're kind of in the middle of things or more on the edge of your network.
That's bizarre, as Christakis apparently called it. Our genes nudge us towards certain social structures.
It seems so. Like maybe some people are genetically predisposed to want that tight-knit group, everyone connected. Others might prefer being a hub, connecting different clusters.
Different genetic strategies for building a social world? That's mind-blowing.
It really is.
So, okay, we're wired for connection, maybe even for specific types of connection. What does this all mean for our actual physical health?
Now that's where it gets incredibly compelling. It all comes back to that fundamental need to belong.
And how not belonging or feeling stressed socially affects us.
Precisely. Think about Hansel Lee back in 1936. He's the one who coined the term stress as we use it.
Right. And he found chronic stress caused physical problems in lab animals.
Yeah, ulcers, heart issues, strokes, stuff eerily similar to what happens in humans under chronic stress. That was foundational.
And then came those big population studies, like Alameda County.
The Reinmark study, 1965 to 74. Lisa Berkman and Leonard Syme.
What did they find?
Basically, the fewer social connections people reported having in 65.
The more likely they were to have died 9 years later.
Exactly. And that held true even when they accounted for smoking, obesity, income, all that.
Wow. And James House's study in Tecumseh found something similar.
Reinforced it. Social isolation roughly doubled the risk of dying.
Doubled? That's huge. That puts social connection right up there with not smoking or managing blood pressure.
It really should. Then John Cacioppo and Louise Hockley started explicitly calling loneliness a terrible health problem.
And they linked it to blood pressure.
Yeah, their long-term study on older adults showed lonely people had significantly higher blood pressure, a direct, measurable physical effect.
So how does that work? How does feeling lonely or stressed socially actually harm the body? What's the mechanism?
Steve Cole's research is key here. He studies how social factors affect our genes.
Our genes, like it changes our DNA.
Not the DNA sequence itself, but which genes are turned on or off, gene expression.
Okay. And social stress affects that.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
It tends to ramp up genes involved in inflammation.
Inflammation, which is linked to tons of diseases, right? Heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's.
Cole calls it a generic fertilizer for just about every disease. Social stress also dials down our antiviral responses.
Meaning we're more vulnerable to viruses.
Yeah, like the HIV virus replicates faster in people who are stressed.
That's terrifying. And did Cole find similar gene patterns in lonely people?
Yes, lonely individuals showed similar gene expression profiles to people under intense chronic stress, like caregivers looking after a dying spouse.
Wow. That really drives home the biological cost of isolation.
It absolutely does.
Okay, so decades of research point to this profound link. If you had to boil it down, what's the biggest takeaway?
You probably have to look at the Harvard study of adult development. It's been running for over 75 years.
75 years, following the same people.
Yeah, incredible data. And Robert Waldinger, the current director, summed it up perfectly in his TEDx talk.
What did he say?
Good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. Simple as that.
Period. No caveat.
Pretty much. They found that how satisfied people were with their relationships at age 50 was a better predictor of their physical health at age 80 than their cholesterol levels were.
Better than cholesterol. Seriously.
Seriously. And good relationships even seem to buffer physical pain. People in happy partnerships reported that pain bothered them less.
So this isn't just about feeling good. Your social life is like a vital organ.
That's a great way to put it. It impacts everything from your blood pressure to your genes.
Which means social connection, or the lack of it, is becoming a massive public health issue.
Absolutely. There's that campaign to end loneliness in the UK. They have this YouTube film.
The one showing the young guy after just 1 week of isolation, it's really disturbing to watch how quickly he unraveled.
Yeah. And the cost is enormous. Social isolation costs Medicare something like $6.7 billion a year in the U.S.
Mostly from nursing homes and hospital stays for people who don't have that support network.
Right, which points to a real gap in how our systems, like healthcare, view social connections.
Like that story of Joan Delfator, the woman with cancer.
Yeah, it's a stark example. Single person, strong friend network. But the doctors initially hesitated on aggressive treatment because she didn't have immediate family.
They overlooked her friends entirely.
Seemed that way. She had to fight, change doctors to get the standard care. It shows how much we need to broaden our definition of support. Friends count. A lot.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. How does friendship play out across different life stages, starting with kids and teenagers?
Yeah, the intensity of childhood friendships.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Like the author's son, Matthew, being devastated about moving to Hong Kong. What about my friends? That cry is universal, isn't it?
Totally. And a lot of that early bonding happens through play.
Play. Seems simple, but it's actually quite profound.
Very. Jack Panksepp identified play as one of 7 core primal emotional systems in the brain.
Primal, like fear or anger.
Exactly. He saw it as crucial for learning social rules, managing emotions, even engaging with strangers in an attachment-like way.
And there was research with rats, too, showing play makes them smarter.
Marion Diamond's work back in the 60s. Rats in enriched environments, meaning toys and other rats to play with, developed bigger, better brains than isolated rats or rats with just toys.
So the social interaction, the play, was key.
It seems so. And zoologist John Byers connected play specifically to brain size and social complexity in mammals. More play seems to correlate with bigger brains needed for complex social lives.
And for kids, friendship is also like a shield, right? A buffer.
A huge buffer. It can provide emotional intimacy, security, almost like an attachment relationship.
And helps protect against bullying.
Definitely. Studies show kids with at least one good friend are much less likely to be victimized. And if they are, having a friend to share it with makes it less damaging. Shared plight, you know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Then comes adolescence, the teenage brain, famously a work in progress.
Understatement. Jay Geed's research showed this second wave of brain development in early adolescence.
Like toddlerhood all over again, but different.
Sort of. Massive blooming of connections, then pruning back what's not needed. But crucially, different parts develop at different speeds.
Ah, right. The emotion part develops faster than the reasoning part.
Exactly. The limbic system, the emotional gas pedal, is fully developed or even supercharged. But the prefrontal cortex, the brakes, the planning center, is still under construction.
Which explains a lot about teenagers, the emotional intensity, the risk-taking.
It contributes significantly, yes.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Steinberg's work adds another layer.
What did you find?
He did studies, including one with mice and alcohol,
Mice and alcohol, okay.
suggesting adolescent mammals are kind of hardwired to be more influenced by peers. The teen mice drank way more booze with their buddies than when alone.
Yeah.
Adult mice didn't show that difference.
So peer pressure isn't just psychological. It might have a biological root in adolescence. Being with peers actually increases risk-taking.
It seems to amplify it during that specific developmental window.
But wait, didn't you say friends usually buffer stress? Does that always hold true for teens?
Good question. There's a twist. Megan Gunnar did a study using a stress test specifically designed to trigger feelings of social evaluation. Think public speaking in front of peers.
Okay, stressful just thinking about it.
Right. And in that situation, having friends present actually increased the teenagers' cortisol levels, their stress hormone.
Increased it, so friends made it more stressful.
In that specific context, yes. It suggests that when the social situation itself is the stressor, or when you're worried about how your friends see you, they don't buffer stress like a parent might. It's more complex.
Fascinating. Okay, moving into adulthood, we talk about circles of friendship, close friends, wider network.
Yeah, those core confidants, the people you truly rely on, and then the broader group.
How many close friends does the average person have? There were some scary numbers floating around a while ago suggesting it was declining rapidly.
Yeah, those seem to have been a bit overblown, or based on specific question wording. More consistent data suggests the average American has about 4 close social contacts.
4! Okay.
And the percentage reporting very few close friends, like 0 or 1, has actually stayed pretty stable in the single digits for decades.
That's reassuring, actually. So we're not all becoming hermits.
Doesn't seem so. But beyond those really close ties, what about the other people we interact with?
The weak ties, as sociologist Mario Small calls them.
Exactly. He argues that just having a steady stream of social interaction is incredibly important. Casual chats, acquaintances.
It's not just about deep secrets, but just running into people.
Yeah. He says the people really struggling are often those literally not running into anybody on a regular basis. Those weaker ties provide information, opportunities, just a general sense of belonging.
Makes sense. Now, what about gender? Historically, you had thinkers like Aristotle or Montaigne seeing deep friendship as mainly a male thing.
Right. But now you hear people like Jane Fonda celebrating women's friendships as this renewable source of power. Big shift.
So are there real biological differences in how men and women do friendship, or is it mostly culture?
It seems largely cultural, shaped by societal roles and expectations. You hear descriptions like women's friendships being more face-to-face, focused on talking, and men more side-by-side, focused on activities. And there are statistical tendencies like that. But the fundamental need for connection, intimacy, support, that's universal. The recent shift is more about society finally valuing the way women have always built strong bonds.
So if these bonds are so vital, how do we actually build them?
Yeah.
Especially as busy adults.
Jeffrey Hall's research tried to quantify it a bit.
He put numbers on it.
Sort of. He estimated it takes around 80 to 100 hours together to move from acquaintance to friend, and maybe 200+ hours for a best friend.
Wow, that's a lot of hours.
It is. But he emphasizes it's not just about clocking time or being nearby. Quality matters more.
What kind of quality?
Things like joking around, having meaningful conversations, catching up, sharing experiences, even playing video games together counts if it involves that kind of interaction.
So it's about the interaction, not just proximity.
Right. And if you want a shortcut to intimacy, Arthur Aaron's 36 Questions That Lead to Love, they actually work pretty well for building closeness between friends, or even strangers, surprisingly fast.
Huh. The 36 questions. Worth a try. Now, thinking about community, that UCLA program, Generation Exchange, that sounds amazing.
It really is inspiring. You have older adults volunteering in elementary schools in under-resourced areas.
And it benefits both groups.
Hugely. The kids, better reading scores, better attendance, fewer behavioral issues,
And the older volunteers.
tangible health benefits, lower blood pressure, weight loss, they walk faster, feel less lonely, find more purpose.
It's like a perfect symbiosis.
Totally. You hear stories like Winona Ricks and Linda Dutton, these two older women whose own friendship deepened through the program and the bonds they form with the kids. It's powerful.
It really shows that need for connection and action. It kind of reminds me of Sylvia the baboon.
Huh. Yes. The grumpy old baboon who, after losing her main ally, actually started making nice, grooming others, seeking new connections late in life.
Shows it's never too late, and the drive is always there, doesn't it?
That deep, fundamental need to belong.
Okay, final big topic. Friendship in the digital age. The tech tsunami, as the source calls it. Phones, internet, social media. It's changed everything, right?
It certainly changed the landscape, no doubt about it.
But is it all bad? Is it destroying friendship?
It's really nuanced. The effects seem to vary a lot depending on your age, your personality, your mental health. It's not a simple good or bad picture.
So what does the research actually say?
Well, somewhat surprisingly, Pew Research found that using mobile phones and the internet is often linked to larger and more diverse social networks.
Larger, not smaller.
Yeah, and social media users were actually less likely to say they had no close friends compared to people not on social media.
Okay, that pushes back against the social media isolates us narrative.
It does. But there's a flip side. Digital tech can definitely be distracting, even when you're trying to connect in person.
How so?
There was this clever experiment where just having a mobile phone sitting nearby, not even being used, made strangers feel less close after having a meaningful conversation.
Just its presence was disruptive.
Seems like it subtly pulls our attention, makes us feel less present, even subconsciously.
And what about teenagers? Tech is their native language almost.
Absolutely. Video games, social media, texting, that's how they connect. But crucially, studies show their main interactions with friends still happen face-to-face, at school, hanging out.
So tech supplements rather than replaces real-world friendship for most teens?
Generally, yes. And there's a big difference between actively using tech to engage with friends, playing games together online, texting to arrange plans, versus passively scrolling through feeds.
Passive scrolling being potentially less good for well-being?
That seems to be the case. Active engagement often supports friendships. Passive consumption can sometimes increase comparison or FOMO, fear of missing out.
So despite all the changes, the rise of digital life, friendship itself endures.
That's the core message. Social media is new, friendship is old. As old as humans on the savannah, it's not going away. The tools change, the fundamental need doesn't.
Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be, friendship isn't just nice, it's necessary. Biologically necessary.
Absolutely. And while lots of things influence our social lives, we still have agency. We have responsibility.
We have to choose it, invest in it.
Yeah. Embrace it, work at it. It requires effort, like anything important.
So a final thought to leave people with, something provocative.
Well, Steve Cole has this fascinating, maybe slightly sci-fi vision for the future.
Go on.
Imagine using biological feedback, maybe looking at your own gene expression profile to get a sense of your molecular well-being.
Like a biological checkup on how connected you feel.
Kind of. It can let you experiment, see how different lifestyle choices, spending more time with friends, volunteering, whatever, actually affect you at that deep biological level long before any disease shows up.
Oh, wow. Using our biology to guide us towards better connection and well-being.
It's a radical idea, but it highlights the fundamental truth we've been talking about. Humans are just incredibly fundamentally social.
And that social nature, it's our secret sauce.
It really is. It's our secret sauce, feeling well, feeling safe, feeling secure in the world. Connection is key.